Alright, so let's get started, shall we? So where we left off, you guys were at the tavern, on the inside, and here's Hacken. Let me just advance this real quick. Elenir. Okay, you're in Elenir's tavern. Once I get to 666, I'll unfollow. Alright, so, you guys are staying. The inn currently belongs to Hacken. This is his building, his establishment, and he is treating you guys to your food, your lodgings, with the assumption that when you guys go out to get the text you are hunting, everything you acquire gets sold to him, so that he can then use that as supplies for his next trade caravan going out. So, one of the days, we'll say probably about 2 days since you guys had gotten in and gotten settled. Everything except the text? Correct. Hacken would come down to join you all at breakfast. Greetings. So, it appears that the Magister and Keeper of the Library has finally come back in today. I'd say this is our chance to get the information we need about where those texts went. Any questions about where you need to go, who you need to speak to, or do you need anything from me before you get on your way? Hacken just kind of looks around the group as he grabs another vintage wine from the Colovian estates and gives it a good sniff before just throwing it back. Yes, it's breakfast, but he likes wine for breakfast. I would like to feast before we leave. He says, by all means, said various roast pheasants, as well as eggs, omelets, some ham from some wild boar are brought out and served. It's a breakfast for champions, or in the case of Hacken, very wealthy merchants. Eggs, ham, and juice. There is juice, yes. Victor just 2 hands just starts shoveling the food away. You guys are quite content with where you are. The perks of the mercenary life, well, they be good when they be good. The cons be bad when they be bad, but this is the time of the good. As you guys begin getting settled, you pack away some of the leftovers to take for snacks on the trail as you head out. If we go down on health, I'm gonna bite food and increase it. Not Kanara. Ooh, I've got to remember the other Khajiit's name. Katya. Katya selects the choicest of bits from between the violent grabs and hoarding of the Nordling. Victor Bloodfallen, there we go. Perks of a mercenary are scary enough when you get treated well. Yes, and if you guys are wondering who has potions, as Pimley pointed out, it is in the level up chat, I believe is where I posted it, or did I post it in our... Yeah, it's level up chat. So it's going to be right here for easy reference. Oh, looks like Alduin did post his level up here. I just forgot to grab it. Proper utensils were provided. They may have been knocked to the floor while the Nord just kind of went over the table and just started knocking stuff all about, but they are there in somewhere. So with that said, anything else you needed from him before you guys headed out to the Archmagister's library? Victor begrudgingly kind of grabs up the rest of the crumbs, putting them into like a little mush that he then puts in his mouth. Nothing else for him? Alright. And you guys are off. So, just a quick reminder. I meant to highlight. Your goal is to find a copy of the book Detection of Essence. Hacken sold 1 of 3 known copies to Kralius. This book contained whatever secrets Kralius needed. 1 copy was recently stolen from the library here in Elenir, and another copy has been acquired by a high elf sect in Somerset. You guys are attempting to track down this one at the library. Acquire a couple potions, don't know how much they cost. I've actually not really figured out how much they cost, but you have no money. So I could delay that for another day. On your way over to the library, Zolf mentions that a few of our party members need to brush themselves off and maybe go back and grab their manners before we start speaking to people of importance. As of right now, ingredients may not be purchased because I've not balanced them. That's on the list of things for me to do. But I digress. You enter into Elenir's grand stone towers held up by stone atronachs. And upon entering, the library seems relatively devoid. There's some patrons wandering around and about when all of a sudden a unassuming red guard clad in mage's robes approaches you. Greetings, Archmagister Grandrout. I don't typically see you all around here. What may I do for you today? Furious typing is heard. We've traveled here in search of magical texts. May we browse? Oh, by all means, and he nods over at Zolf the Altmer. And by all means, if there is something specific you're looking for, let me know, and I'll be happy to assist in any way I can. He kind of leaves you all to be as he settles into a seat not far from where you are, keeping you all in eyesight and just kind of watching you guys as you go around. You guys begin to peruse the bookshelves. The tomes here they range from the mundane to how to deal with cantrips, magical theory. Then there's some experimental papers that I won't read off because they get into drudging details, such as spell cast using X amount of power against target Y. Here was the result. Spell cast with power X plus 1, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And they're just multiple in-depth analyses covering most schools of magic, though notably there are no texts concerning conjuration or illusion present within the volumes here. Metals is disappointed at the no illusion or conjuration, literally the two schools she studies. Yes, bear in mind that in Hammerfell, those two schools are functionally outlawed. They're not literally outlawed, but anyone attempting to practice them within the schools of magic is expelled. Interesting book on history to flip through. There's some. Find a children's book with pictures and give it to Victor. Here, this one should be about your speed. You find a illustrated copy of 1 Dunmer, 2 Dunmer, 3 Dunmer, 4. And it is literally a book for counting for children that is in an albeit small section dedicated for children, but sizable enough. Has anyone found the text we seek? As you guys kind of compare notes and circle around the various levels, it appears that no, the text you seek is not here. And as you guys approach the second level, the Archmage walks up and just kind of follows, but then settles himself off into another corner. You see that there is a display case that would be normally locked, but you see that the glass in it has been smashed, and while the broken glass has been cleared away, the broken display case frames are still on display there. Reminder that it was stolen from the library. There's an alarming amount of the lusty Argonian maid here. There is actually a historical piece describing the subtle changes in culture based on the printing of the lusty Argonian maid, and how that the Argonian version was considered even too crude to put in Cyrodiilic bookshelves, though no copy of the Argonian version is present. Medals has read the Argonian variant in Argonian version. It is lusty indeed. Let us inquire about the stolen property. So Zolf, kind of nodding to the rest of the party, walks up to the Archmagister, Gren, and just kind of, Gren, we're looking for a specific text, and goes on to describe the one you're looking for. He nods and says, ordinarily I would point you to, and he gestures toward the shattered case. However, as it was stolen recently, I am unable to give you guys the luxury of previewing its contents. He begins to kind of look you all up and down, and then turns to... Who would he turn to? 1 second. He would turn, well, Zolth, the person he's speaking with, so he would continue discussion with you. What is your interest in alteration? So some questions kind of come through, and just how long ago was the text stolen, and do you have information regarding who stole them? He goes, well, would have been stolen. You see him just kind of ponder. About 5 or 6 days ago. And as for who stole it, we know that there are some bandits out along the Painted Crags who tend to try to acquire items like this for trade in the neighboring provinces. No doubt they assumed because the books were locked away, they were valuable. Some, like the one you seek, is, but only to practitioners, as it's a very detailed treatise on experimentation surrounding detect life and detect essence spells. Zolth knows. Well, alteration has some properties that can be quite unforgiving in the right hands. He chuckles, yes, but what's odd is that the bandits themselves have never seemed to be the casting kind. Those with magical proficiency usually are able to make better money with less risk elsewhere. So he has no doubt that they're just attempting to sell it rather than attempting to use it. The one who would wish to buy such a tome would seek its power? He nods, assumedly yes, though again you can see just portraying confusion and flusterment. You would expect they'd be able to actually bother to come down and visit our college rather than attempting to abscond with texts. But he shakes his head. I doubt it was a intentional hit. It was rather opportunistic. They had seen we had the collection and had realized that while I myself was out of town traveling to Cyrodiil, it was the opportune time for them to hit it. It appears that one of our guards may have been working with them, and that allowed them to get inside. Sleepy kitty. Sleepy, sleepy kitty. The best of sleepy kitties. A guard, you say? He kind of shrugs. The kind of mercenary you hire on the side of the street and give him the job of protecting things. He was paid moderately decent. Who was the guard? He ponders back on the name. Would have been... 1 second. He leaves and goes upstairs. You can hear a door shut. And kind of muffled, you hear him opening drawers and just beginning to slide things and go through various papers as if he's looking for something. Cast muffle on the Khajiit while he's gone. You go to cast your spell when all of a sudden your spell's energy appears to be absorbed by the stone. And there is a slight energy puddle / glowing in the stone underneath you. Surprisingly thin walls, more a surprisingly good echo. Then at fast there's a aha! And you see him come down, he's got a personnel register. I knew I wrote down the names of the people we hired somewhere. His name was Yunda. Is he perhaps someone you're familiar with? Never heard the name before. He shrugs. Hired them from a passing group. He seemed inclined to want to stick in and stay. So, in hindsight, maybe I should have hired someone who had already stuck around, but his cost was relatively cheap, and, well, now I see why. He kind of, again, looks you guys up and down. If you're looking for work, I'm hesitant to offer any upfront payment, but should you return with the texts that were acquired, I would be happy to pay you for them. Jirta, the bottomer, speaks up. Was this Yunda questioned by anyone investigating the robbery? No, in fact, our evidence that he was involved is also circumstantial. He was on duty the night of the robbery, and he was not seen afterwards. And while I guess it could be that the bandits could have abducted him, that would be unlikely, as they've never taken any form of prisoner or hostages before. And that, given with him on duty, it would have been nigh upon impossible for them to enter the tower without someone letting them in from the inside. As such, we have come to our conclusion that he is a guilty party. Do you know where he usually frequents? Zolth speaks up. He shakes his head. No, we do not. Again, the bandits themselves tended to frequent the Painted Crags, which is an area outside town that you guys would be familiar with in passing. It's a relatively rugged area of land with just multiple crags. It's extremely easy to hide in, very difficult to actually route people out, as it's a living, well, not a living maze. It's an actual maze made of rock and canyons. Painted because the colors are ranging from reds to yellows, greens. What's going on? You guys are in Hammerfell, attempting to track down a missing book, which is the same book that your mage friend got a hold of. 'Tis time to journey, unless we have other inquiries. Yes, any other questions, feel free to ask them. I will go and do Steph's level up real quick. Double destruction. Got it. Alright, Metals is ready to roll out? Alrighty. So, after having concluded your discussion, you nod and go down the stairs, out the front door. Looking back, that's the tower you guys were in. But you guys are out of Ellen here. And with that, you guys are into the Painted Crags. So, wandering through, you guys have arrived here after 1 day of travel. How do you want to go about searching for your mercenary friend? Or, sorry, your robber friends? Were we able to pull Victor away from the children's section? He was still on that book, and he never really understood why 5 came after 4, but he didn't seem overly thrilled once he wasn't able to get it on his 10th attempt. The grass comes up to about knee height, FYI. No skulking in the shadows, I guess? Nope. This is a very open terrain. There are scattered trees in the plains, but once you hit the craglands, this is rock. D10? I believe you're on D10, so go for it. What did I miss? I had to step away for a bit. Your character got stuck in the children's section, and the party had to pull you away so that you wanted to leave. So Zolf begins to climb up one of these. They're relatively easy to climb. The sandstone is very well worn. You've got good traction, as it's pocketed worn, not smooth worn. Weapons section? Yeah, no, that was the children's section. Perception 1, that's going to be a D6. We're doing our roleplay game today. Rolls a 6 on a D6. You guys are in the Painted Crags. Perception 0 is a D4. I'm going to rework how perception works. I just have to figure out how I balance it with stealth. A lot of updates will begin to happen after the Master Series. I've been very, very busy with getting the Master Series set up. And it's meant that developing the RPG has been one of the things that's kind of slipped under the bus. Under the bus? Yeah, the Master Series is a bus killing all of my free time. So as you guys are wandering through, try as you might, you guys find various old wagon trails where it would appear like an old campsite would be, but all of that would be like just a scarred blackening on the terrain. There's not really any sign of travel. I did see we had a perception of 6. So that's going to get over our perception of 5. After about most of a day of searching, you guys do find a recent campsite. It's an old campsite. There's a burned out fire. There's places where it appears tents were set. There's some various rotten foodstuffs around, scraps that started to have been picked clean by ants in the local animal population, but notably the scraps are still there. Look for journals, letters, or any useful clues. So you start kind of picking apart the scraps, digging through the fire pit to see if anything was burned, but you're not really able to determine anything. Are we able to see which way they went based on tracks? There's no scraps, no trash that appears to have any letters or anything with it. And there's no tracks around the campground, given that it is, or campsite, given that it is rock. Now, what I'll give Kim with her roll of 5 there is what you're able to determine is with the amount of scraps that are left over, they've only been gone for part of a day. Or, sorry, they've been gone for part of a night and an entire day. If it had been gone for an entirety of a night, all the food would have been cleaned up by scavengers. So it's likely the camp was broken sometime during the night and they're moving over the darkness rather than moving during the day. You guys are tracking down some bandits, Aisha, the ones who stole the book you guys are looking for. Split up into small groups to cover more ground. So what you guys are able to notice that while you are traveling this is you guys are welcome to travel during the day, but even from a high point, the canyons completely obscure any opportunity to find people unless someone is actively traveling on a ridge. And then going down into a canyon and then going up the other side is hours of work. They appear to be headed north. The group you saw last time was somewhere to the east of you. Follow the canyon the camp was in. So you guys kind of walk down the canyon. There's an entrance, if I recall correctly, between these two, and begin just walking down, following the canyon for the rest of the day. And as day turns to night, you still haven't found them. Post up, finish up waiting, get up on a high spot, wait until nightfall, see if they're using fires, and look for campfires in the darkness. So you guys, after getting as far as you could during the day, you guys climb up to like an outcropping up here. Where's my pointer? Yeah. Climb up to like an outcropping up here. And you guys begin looking for smoke in the distance or any sign of light. Panning your eyes across, there appears to be no source of any fires. And it moves into darkness. Continuing your vigil, it's not long before you see on a ridge, maybe 2 canyons over, you guys are able to see a caravan moving along that ridge, silhouetted against the sky. And I don't have it posted because it looked terrible once I did it. Little lights kind of dangling and moving in the distance as if there's some people assisting with moving the caravan. So keeping your distance and seeing as they're not moving at a pace, you guys set up a shadow of them, moving at a distance, never silhouetting yourself against the sky, but always able to parallel them as they're traveling. Katya looks to the party for permission to sneak up and begin to watch them. Cast Muffle on Katya. Muffle is cast. Do note I am counting that as the start of the encounter, so that will take up Magicka. Jirta sets up to sneak and rolls himself a d20. Hits 17 of. Nice. I will sneak up along their back trail and check their trail, see how many of them there are, and just being cautious. So the two of you kind of loop up behind. You're kind of listening to footfalls, trying to gather how many there are. You know of the 6 who are currently riding. Based on other footfalls, sounds like there would be 4 people on foot. Are they actually on camels? I've decided yes. So while those 2 are sneaking around the back, around the front, let me get your character's name real quick here. Walks in darkness, moves around the front, and kind of those of you in the back and around, Victor following, kind of the caravan just kind of stops, and the voices that would have been murmuredly chatting kind of just fall silent. I'll take perception rolls all. Let me see who would need to roll. I just need Katya, and actually no, Katya's all I need. And you got a total of a 9. Yeah, you guys heard Victor moving around the front. He's like kicking rocks. One of the merchants kind of dismounts from his camel. You see him just kind of draw out a dagger. Argonian in the desert. What did I get? A 1. You got a 1, Dragonborn. No, hell, friends, no need for weapons. You see the lights just kind of dangling off their camels, enchanted in some way. He kind of puts his dagger back. What is it I can do for you? No, everyone has seen everything so far. Though around the merchants there's light, and there does only appear to be 6 of them. Just a humble treasure hunter looking for rare artifacts. Well, you are welcome to continue traveling. We'll be on our way. With that, they kind of goad the camels, and the camels begin moving past you, giving you a little bit of a berth. Have you seen any activity in this desert recently? Go ahead and roll your speech. What die? Speech 3? That's going to be a D10. Rolls 10 on a 10-sided dice. Nice. They kind of, on the other side of you, kind of just pause again. No, it's just us. We have not seen anyone. They begin slowly walking away again. Can we throw them off a cliff? You're welcome to try pushing a camel. It doesn't work that way. Have you perhaps seen Yunda? They again look at you. We do not know the name Yunda. If you keep teasing us with that laser pointer, we might have a broken scream somewhere. Rolls to see if they're lying. They're giving an overall air of wanting to be done with you guys. And they seem to be willing to say anything that is required to get rid of you. Walks begins getting into a conversation of how he is looking for a lost version of the lusty Argonian maid, and how he is certain that it was lost in the desert near here, looking back at the stealth figures, trying to give them the search their stuff. And surely such wonderful individuals such as these, they must have seen or heard or felt the aura of lustiness coming from one of the hills near here. And proceeds to recite some of the chapters of the lusty Argonian maid to them, as all 6 of them kind of look uncomfortable, but they're engrossed by the conversation. So sneaky individuals are now going to need to decide, do you want to go up and attempt to rifle through the gears? There is a rider on each of them, though they have some packs as well. I will need another stealth check for seeing if you can get up separately, because you're also competing against the camels who could react as well. All you guys need to beat is a 5, apparently. So 7 plus 4, 11, you're good. I am certain that this legendary book must be near here, and it is of paramount importance. Would you like, perhaps, another recital? Kim rolls 4, but gets plus 2, so that is a 6. So just barely, you guys have gotten up. Like, the camel seems to know you're there, but doesn't seem disturbed by the presence of foot individuals. Kind of feeling up the packs, you are able to see that there seem to be filled with books, though some of the others seem to clink with some form of stones on the inside. Plus 4, then you should have rolled a d20. But it's all good, you passed it regardless. I'm going to be reworking the stealth system, so fear not. The merchants, after some time of hearing the recital, well, we wish you the goodbye. Goodbye, you strange Argonian. If there's light enough to see, so you're able to slip one of them out. Though, without light, you guys would need to pull back to investigate it. I cast flames on the camel's rear, so as soon as you go to cast flames, they book it. And as they're booking it, the 4 individuals who were in melee appear to have been stealthed, such that even your stealth people with perception didn't see it. And they move to engage. Let's go ahead and roll up combat. Figured out where I put the combat. And party whack time. Alright, let me roll up initiative over on the character sheet. Pimley, off-rank. Yeah, we do not have candy today, so let's Hide Hero, Alduin, Dragonborn, Watt, Aisha, Kim. Yes, that's everyone. Enemies win on initiative order. So, you guys are functionally starting in melee. So, Red Guard 1, Red Guard 2, Red Guard 3, Red Guard 4. Then we have Victor, Metals, Kayleen, Katya, Jirta, Zolf, and Walks. You two are stealthed. There is much bloodlust in this party, yes. Alright, so opening with them, they all close into melee, with two of them pushing past the melee row to engage the back line, or what they think is the back line. Enemy health? Yeah, the enemy has health. Have fun with that. Alright, so the first one is going to go ahead and roll up. They're all dual-wielding daggers. So the first one is going to dual-wield attack Victor using a power attack. R is the, I put that for Rahad. It's just the Red Guard. Camels are up here. These are the dismounted people who snuck away as soon as you guys revealed yourselves. And they had a stealth of, I think, 13. Rolls a 5, so that's going to be 2 hits. They're doing 2 damage per hit, so that is 4 damage to Dragonborn. You are currently at 2 health. The second one double attacks Kayleen with 2 23s to hit. 17 plus 6, 17 plus 6. You roll a single defense. Cast courage on me, buff the tank. Rolls a 7. Defense, I think the armor is still bugged on this. No, it's up. You've got a 7 to defense, plus your armor. Let me double check what the armor defense is. No, I didn't, so I've got to manually do that today, because I didn't get time to do it. So, protection 6. Stone flesh before combat. The flesh spells automatically act up in combat. It's assumed because they're long duration, you have them cast beforehand. So anyway, the roll was 7, but then that's going to net you 13. Oh, because you're also using a shield. Yes. So you are going to defend successfully, because you have 13 plus 7 is 20, and then your shield skill is... Where is your shield skill? Isha, Kayleen... Your shield skill is 4, so you have 24 to defense. Your armor buff was added to your defense roll because they rolled a 20 plus to hit you, so your 5 was moot point. But so those two are going to glance off of your armor, and just the shield just putting as much barrier between you and your opponent as possible. Then the next one is going to double attack Metals with a 13 and a 23. Both hit? Yep. Because you've got a 12 to defense. So you are going to get hit for 4, which is going to put you down to 0. You are officially staggered. And then the final one is going to go for Zolf. 16 and a 22. Versus no defense. So yeah, you're going to get hit regardless. You are down to 1 health. So that was a good turn. Victor, you're up. Rolls a 2 on a 20-sided die. Using a power attack. They roll a 12 to their defense, so no. I'd rather jump off a cliff than roll that low. So as soon as you go to attack them, they did use a power defense, but you just see them with their weapons, moving them in concert. They are trained in 2-weapon fighting, and are parrying your single weapon with ease. Metals. Fight or flee? Choosing to fight. Alright, act normally. Please move. He can move without fleeing, so he can still withdraw back 2 lanes and be out of the way. I cast Rally on myself. 2 points health, 2 points stamina. Can I still power move? Yes. So that would put you back 3 lanes. Move to lane 2, or forward 3 lanes. That works as well. Am I able to wait for walks to move? Yes, you could say I delay until after walks, and then what we'll do is we'll just move you to behind in the initiative order. So Metals then just kind of sprints away. Now you were able to move through the lanes because there's 2 enemies, 2 friendlies. 2 enemies, 2 friendlies. Otherwise, you would not have been able to move through. Just so we're clear. And that's not just for you, it's for others as well. But, Kayleen, you are up. Stack Rayleighs on Kayleen. Rolls a d20. So you are too busy defending yourself when you go to swing that you're just completely incapacitating yourself. No attack was made. Point of stamina burned. Meow. I have a kitty doing a whine right at my feet. Katya, you are currently hidden. They do not know you exist. Looks like Katya may have had to take a AFK. I will also take actions from Jirta. Oh wait, advance 1 and sneak behind them. So you need to advance 2 if you're going to go into melee. You will still be hidden if you advance into melee. Do not advance 2. No, I believe Zolf is getting ready to drop Fireball on a lane. Not going into melee. Alright, you advance 1. There you go. Any attack or action you wish to use. I'm looking into your character here just to see if there's something you've got. Doesn't appear so. For record, Ice Storm is actually the better spell to use here. Because you can pick 2 from this lane, 2 from that lane, etc. I'm getting ready to pull folks out of the fire. Got it. Jirta, you're up. If Zolf wins this fight by scorching 2 enemies, I'm gonna give him all the mead. Rolls d20 time to see today's luck on attacking. Rolls 19. They're unaware, they're unable to defend. And rolls an 18 for stealth. They don't even see you. Let me see what the damage is on your weapon. Character sheets is actually up there on my list of things. Orcish Bow Force does 8 damage on a sneak attack. The first one is staggered. So just out of the darkness, an arrow strikes. The guy has no idea where it came from. Zolf, you're up. You're gonna double cast Ice Storm. Alright, that's gonna cost 6 magicka. You do have that, so that drops you to 3. Rolls a 5. So they're defending with d10s. And you have... What's your destructions bonus? 14? How much of that is the staff? 7 is the staff, which you can't use here. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They can defend because they have a +3 to defense from armor. So they need to roll a 9 to defend. Give me a second. Let me pull up 4 d10s. Actually, I'll just roll for them the first lane. First lane rolls a 3 and an 8, so it hits both of them. Second lane rolls a 3 and a 10, so it hits 1 in the lane. So this guy's just straight up dead. Staggered, and he's fine because it missed him. And let me double see if they... I've got to double check the magic because I'm not 100% familiar with it yet. Any other effects? Drains 1 point of stamina per person hit. Got it. So 2 of them are just floored by it as the Ice Storm just tears through the ranks. The other one, having seen it, just kind of used his footwork to get out of the way. Walks, you're up next. Specifically walks in darkness, and you're in darkness. Drinks on me, Zolf. And I'm going to cast Ice Storm on the remaining fools. Alright, so that's going to be, with a normal cast of Ice Storm, 3 magicka. Go ahead and roll up your attack. 10, 12... What's your destruction bonus? 9, so that's an 11. So this guy is down. And the other one rolls a 10, which means he is hit as well, but he is still up, as you've only done 3 damage. Wait a minute, I've been outclassed at destruction? You have. Alright, back into order. So, first one, odd fight, even flee. He is choosing to fight. So he is going to roll up a double attack on Victor. Victor, defend yourself. 4 plus 3 plus Dwarven Armor 4. So 7 plus 4, 11. It's going to block one of his hits, but not the second one. So you're going to take 2 points of damage. As you're able to kind of parry one, but when you weren't watching, the second weapon comes out from nowhere, strikes you in the back of the head, and you are staggered. Thought I had steel armor? I gave you better quality than steel in what I just said. I may have been wrong with what you have. No, you've got dwarven armor, which is defense 4. Maybe that's typed in wrong, because I'm not sure if you've got the skill for that. Heavy armor 3. Skill armor 3. Dwarven. Nope, you're right. You're maxed out. You have much better than steel, and it was enough to block one, but not the other. Second one is going to swing twice at Kayleen. Has a 25 and a 21 to hit. We'll wait on Kayleen's defense roll. Come to me, you cowardly horkers. Rolls a 5 plus 13, 18. That's going to be 2 hits on Kayleen, which is going to stagger Kayleen from 4 to 0. Gotta roll higher than a 5 before taunting them and calling them cowardly horkers. Though they don't fully get the reference because they're in the desert, but still. Horkers have 2 tusks and they have 2 stabbies. Alright, Victor. Fight or flee. Classic barbarian taunts, then gets hit. 2 damage per hit? Yes. Drink health potion and fight. Alright. So you're back up at 1 health point. And fight, and that removes the staggered condition. And you are fighting. You would assume the armor would do something. Armor's adding plus 13 to your roll. But they have a plus 6 to hit. Dragonborn is going to deftly land a hit and drop the one he is fighting. After kind of just looking at his wounds, taking a swig, he's then able to just take his dwarven weapon. I don't even remember what type of weapon you have. Oh, you've got an axe, dwarven axe. You just cut straight in, embeds itself, and then just pulls it out, body ragdolling down. You rolled a 16. Let me see what potions you have, Kayleen. You have stamina potion. So you have nothing that would add to your health. Next one's gonna be that death hug. But, so are you going to fight or withdraw? Nope, if you're attacking, you're not casting a spell. Cast Soul Trap. Oh, yeah, your turn's up next. Alright, so you're casting Soul Trap on the Rahad. Got it. Alright. Kayleen, I need to know whether you are going to attack or withdraw. I will also take actions from Katya and Jirta, should either one of you wish to act. Puts up her shield and attempts to protect others. Move up behind the other one and make 2 quick stabs. Go for it. Roll up your attacks. They're only able to defend with a D10. So they have an 8 defense. Your attacks are 5 and 8 plus your dual-wielding stat, which as long as that's 3, which I'm pretty sure it is, it's 5. Both are going to hit. The first one is a sneak attack. So you are going to do 10 damage, followed up by 5 damage. He's dead. As he was kind of beginning to figure out how he was going to pull around Kayleen's defenses, a jab up through the rib cage that he then looks down at, and then a knife into the neck drops him. The encounter is over. Yes, Soul Trap is triggered. You guys gain 1 soul gem, which I will just note in the inventory. Clean your blade on the tunic. As you begin searching the body, rolling it over and rifling through, you appear that inside his bag is the tome you are looking for, as well as several other tomes that appear to have been directly taken from the university. It is a magical university, so from the university, and it is the title you are looking for. There is also a ledger in there that bears the name Yunda. Hold up the book to show everyone. Everyone can see a book being held up, shrouded in darkness. The caravan has continued on at full camel gallop and has disappeared. Having like 2 HP and no defense, that could end up being a problem once you get targeted. You guys were lucky there were no ranged ones in this. Well, there were, but you guys sent the camels off on a gallop, which was actually decently tactical, as they had bows for their camels. I tell the party what I have found. The party is informed that you guys have the book you had been looking for, as well as several other volumes that appear to have been taken from the college. The camel riders would take multiple days to track down, as they are now actively moving as quick as they can. What we have learned is that bloodlust is the way. So with that, you guys settle down for the night, making use of one of the alcoves as a camp, and day is back upon us. In general, these appear to have been the bandits you were looking for. They were traveling with a caravan of mercenaries who seemed to have already been traversing the area, 2 different bandit groups. This one being a small bandit group of 4 who were adept at fighting and robbery. Overall, you guys are able to recover from their corpses stuff that will end up giving you monetary value when you trade it into Hacken. Otherwise, it's ingredients and materials. So returning back to Ella here, you spend the 2 days backtracking yourself, and there are the 2 towers that you have recognized from before. You return to Hacken in the inn, where you hand over the goods, and upon him tabulating everything, he is willing to pay you guys a token apiece for what you've acquired. And that does appear to be a good price for what you're getting. If you go back to the university, Kim, you're expected to not sell the loot to Hacken, which would be breaking your deal with Hacken. And the university will want that book back from you, and they will not permit you to keep it. You guys can determine what you're going to do with the texts for next session. Copy the text, sell the book, return it to the college. So the book you guys have is as you guys have been the more magically inclined of you, paging through it on your way back, it's literally just a list of experiments done on various creatures with different strengths and conjurations of detect essence spells. Detect life, detect dead. And it's just a essential tabulation. Though there is an entire 2 chapters of the book dedicated to detecting vampires. You guys would need to pass a speech check to be not caught lying, Kim. Because he would assume if you recovered the books, they'd be with the same collection. You guys would be able to talk your way through it potentially, but it would require you guys to talk your way through it. Part of Hacken's deal is he is going to be taking the tomes and turning them. Hacken would inform you that he is going to be returning the tomes to the library for a small reward himself, of which you guys are getting a portion of, as part of the value he's assessing in the collection. He will be getting a small cut, but for his view, he is the one who's put this all together and initiated you guys doing it, and so he believes he earns a cut as well. In his mind, you would also recognize that he's the one who's fed you, and so his reward is also partially his payment for the Nord's eating habits and the cleaning associated with his bedroom pigsty. It seems he has a history of night terrors where he destroys the mattress as if he were fighting a enemy. Copying the text seems like a good plan. That would take you weeks. And setting up with scribes materials. It is not a functional option at this point. I dream of being in battles, yes, and you have, through great bloodlust and rage, conquered the mattress and decapitated it and strewn its entrails about the room. And not to mention an illiterate Nord wants to copy the textbook, that's true. But I digress. So Hacken also mentions that a friend of yours is apparently wanting to speak with you. And he motions that there is a secure table off in the corner for you to go and sit down at. At the table, you recognize is Flavius, still wearing his Blade's armor and carrying most of his gear. I mentioned that I would follow up behind you. How has your progress been? Those party members not present with you are also seated with Flavius, as they are assisting him with his tasks in and about Is this Flavius? He does not look the same. Yes. Custom art asset. It's great. We're working on getting the other characters. Hacken is next. It's not hard, it's all the mods. But you guys proceed to explain that you have the text, and upon him just kind of flipping through it, interesting, he returns it back over to you guys. I imagine these guys were going north with it. In order for us to actually get through this, we would need someone who's able to be skilled in alteration and decipher what use this could have in any form of vampiric nonsense. We have some options. We could return to Cyrodiil and try to make progress within the Arcane University. However, it is likely Crowlius would catch on to our axe, given that we'd be doing his work in his specialty right under his nose. We could stay here with the Red Guard in order to get their favor and willingness to help us. It's likely we'd end up doing some work for them, if you guys feel that you're up to the task. Alternatively, if what you're saying is true and they were taking these texts north, we could seek out the Mages of High Rock. The price up there would likely be cheaper, and we'd, in more ways than one, probably be able to exchange knowledge for what we need, rather than being embroiled in local politics. For your guys' reference, I'm going to go ahead and put up a poll in the Discord, and you guys will be able to respond to that poll for where you guys will be going next, and what different options that's going to mean for your guys' campaign. So you don't need to make the decision now. But with that said, dinner had been provided as you guys got here at the evening. So that is the end of today's session. And yes, as Dragonborn literally just said, it's level up time.